really helpful, to have a sense of yourself as just, you know, you don't have to try, you don't have to be something that you're not. You can be, you are meant to be who you are, and you don't have to try to fix or change yourself. And having that level of self-acceptance can be really helpful, and I think nature really reflects that, and being in nature can help to calm and help you to feel a sense of belonging. Um, and that takes me to another point. Um, if you feel like it's hard to really trust and be comfortable around people, then it can be helpful to, in meditation, to really imagine that all of nature, the animals, the plants, are, that they accept you, that they enjoy your company, that they are happy to see you. To imagine that sense, to really feel what that feels like in your body, to just be accepted for who you are, to be loved. And sometimes it can be easier to do that, to think about nature as opposed to thinking about people. The other piece is setting small goals for yourself and then accomplishing them. Doing very small things, like I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes, and then doing it, and then that's it. It's like you need to build that sense of trust in yourself, and by doing very small things and accomplishing them from beginning to end. So setting very small intentions, very small goals, daily things that you can do, and then building from there. Okay, I'm going to definitely pause this because my battery is going to die, and I'm also hearing these dogs barking, which is making me a little nervous. So I'm going to finish the video. There's just a couple more ways that I found that help in overcoming perfectionism, undoing the mechanism, and I'll share those in a minute. Hi again. Okay, so I'm back in my studio, away from the wind, away from the dogs. I wanted to pick up where I left off, which was on ways that we can overcome perfectionism, and this is the most important thing. The fact that we can actually recover, we can actually change, we can actually heal. That's what our bodies are designed to do. That's what our brains want to do. And we just need the right support, and we need to start relating to ourselves and working with ourselves so that we can make that happen. If initially it might just be seeking help. That's how I started. I was miserable. I was depressed. I felt really out of alignment with my life. I didn't really know how to make those changes, and I started going to therapy, and eventually that therapist wasn't the right fit, and I sought out other therapists. And you have to really, it's really important that you trust yourself, and it can be hard when you haven't experienced therapy before. You might not know what you're looking for, so it's kind of trial and error, and there's a certain level of discomfort that you want to sort of allow yourself to be in order to work with stuff. But you don't want it to be a bad match, because if it's not the right fit, then it doesn't help. So really trust yourself. I think that's really key, is to really trust your gut, and just be willing to make changes if you need to sort of, you got to audition the therapist in a way. You got to see if it's the right fit for you. And over time, you'll get to know more of what works for you, and what specific areas you want to work on, and if the person is able to help you. But having that relationship is so key, I think, because then it starts to inform the way that you can start relating more to yourself in a more positive way, if you are able to have a positive connection with someone who you can trust and develop a sense of trust with another person. I think that's really important. So I'm just gonna just recap, just review the different ways that have worked for me. I'm not going to go into all of them. Just touch on the ones I already said, and then and then I'll spend a little more time on the other ones. The first one was inner child work, and that was super effective for me. I feel like that was the it just really resonated with me, and it has been something that's evolved over time. It took, it didn't happen right away. I couldn't even really feel that acceptance and that unconditional love towards myself in the beginning. So, it takes time to develop and to reparent yourself and to become that parent, that is able to really give unconditionally and be accepting and nurturing towards yourself. It takes time and it takes practice. That's like building a new muscle. Because if you haven't experienced it in your life, if you don't have examples of that, it's really hard to emulate with yourself. And which is why having a therapist or someone outside has a sort of an outside perspective can kind of be helpful to begin that process. I talked about getting to know yourself. If you always are thinking about other people, you can grow up not even really knowing your own wants and needs and what you like, what you don't like, what your interests are. It can feel really empty, to not have that and not to have built that. But it's not too late. It's never too late to integrate those interests into your life and, start new activities in small ways, start to do the things that you enjoy. Start to, write down the things that you like, start to visualize what your life looks like doing those things that you are passionate about and what feels good to you. And so the more you get to know yourself, the more you can actually take action to do those things that are in line with who you are. But it takes a willingness to be with yourself and to get to know yourself. It's like getting to know a friend. It takes time. You're not going to immediately trust that person, or if it is immediate, maybe it's not the best relationship. Building a relationship with somebody is a back and forth, and it builds over time, and you build trust, and you develop. You allow yourself to be more vulnerable each time that someone is able to meet you. It's the same with the relationship with yourself. You're not going to immediately be able to love every part of yourself or know who you are. So safe people and environments can help you begin to trust yourself. And like I was saying earlier, sometimes because of the environments we grow up in, we might not actually be drawn to environments or people that are safe. And so that's part of the cycle that makes it hard to get out of. It's sort of a self-fulfilling thing where, you want trust and safety, but you're also familiar with the opposite. And so that's why having someone like a therapist to start to build that trust with, to feel what it's like to be around someone who you can trust. If you have one or two friends that you really feel like you can be yourself, these are the people you want to surround yourself with, are the people who you can be yourself with, and where you can be vulnerable and where they can be vulnerable. So in the beginning, it might be someone who's, a therapist who might help, like might be the catalyst to being able to trust people more, and then when you can really trust yourself, and you don't tolerate certain things around other people, those people are gonna, kind of get weeded out, and you're gonna start attracting and being drawn to people who can, who mirror how you feel about yourself. I have here holding a stone as a reminder. So for me, like for a long time with the workaholism and my obsessive thinking, it took me just like I would go on walks and I would have a stone, a crystal, or anything that you can hold and just kind of put your attention on while you're just, so instead of um, getting stuck in here, you start to kind of focus your energy on the stone. And um, I don't know, the act of just walking and holding the stone helped me to, it reminded me to kind of ground more in my body and to connect to myself. Exploring the discomfort of not being perfect. Yeah, I mean, I write here it takes discipline to actually it takes discipline in the opposite way you would think to to move away from perfectionism by disciplining yourself to take care of yourself, and that goes along with like putting energy into yourself. Like it takes discipline. Say it takes discipline to set boundaries, to say no, to not overextend yourself. So you have to, I think I used to think of discipline sort of in this very authoritative way, and that would kind of backfire. And I think if you think of it more like how you would be caring for a child, you would be putting a lot of energy and making sure that their needs are met, they're getting enough sleep, they're getting food, um, just refocusing your energy instead of thinking about other people, bringing it back to yourself. And it can feel scary because you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen, if I'm not hypervigilant and I'm not, focusing on everyone around me. Um, and that's why being in a safe environment and being around safe people is so important. And so obviously, if you're in a situation where you're not safe, the first step is to be able to remove yourself from that situation and to get help and support. Because when you're in an environment that isn't safe for you, it's going to be very, very difficult to calm your body and um, to focus your energy on caring for yourself if you're in an environment that doesn't allow that. So that's really important. I mentioned being silly, wiggling, moving your body, allowing yourself to have fun, caretaking routines, nourishing routines, like giving yourself, just everything. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You don't have to go to a spa, in order to get that. But I mean, a spa is nice every once in a while. But, like doing things that feel nourishing, like noticing what feels good to you, and paying attention to that. Affirmations, like having a card that, with a daily affirmation, just a reminder of what your intention is, what your, this new dialogue that you're trying to establish with yourself.